Officer's Log. Stardate 02-02-2081. It has been 32 days since I woke up from cryo, cold, alone, and cast adrift in the vast nothingness of space. I have just finished compiling an abridged version of my previous logs for archival and broadcast purposes, in the hopes that any search party may eventually find them. The full logs can be found in a playlist here at the Sanctuary base, if additional context is required. Most engineers wouldn't have made it this far. Between the oxygen leaks, the apparent lack of ice, and a base that was assembled in a cave with a box of scraps. It's a miracle that the void hasn't claimed me yet. But space cares not for miracles. It cares only about engineering, and the willpower to survive. From a power-starved lifeboat to a full-fledged industrial outpost, this is how I survived my first 30 days in the void. Officer's Log 01. Stardate 01-01-2081. This is Fiery Shadows, Junior Engineering Officer of the Umbral Pyre Manufacturing and Logistics Corporation. Cryosleep was interrupted. It appears the UPML expedition has been lost, and the lifeboats have been ejected. I'm currently adrift in an unknown star system, far from civilization. From what I can tell, I am on the edge of the fabled star system of Kien that Umbral Pyre had charted all those years ago, and which should have been the destination for the colony ship. So far, there is no sign of sentient life in this sector, nor any other survivors. Life support and power have now switched to reserves. I am too far out for my distress beacon to be detected, and even if it were picked up, I would have surely perished by the time a rescue party arrives. My first point of order is self-preservation. The cryopod works wonders, but only so long as the ship remains powered. I'll need to establish a reliable source of food and make some drastic alterations to the lifeboat if I am to survive out here alone.
Right. Suit is online. HUD is online. We are currently drifting. We have power, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Let's figure out what's going on, shall we? Survival kit offline. Thrusters are offline. Seem to be drifting, so we need to stabilise the drift. We need to get our thrusters back on. Okay, that's taken us from having 30 days. We've got about a day of power. We need a source of food, we need a source of oxygen, and we need a source of power that doesn't rely on having ice. We can make do. We're going to need to get a boatload of stone, and we're going to have to start basically Frankensteining this ship. We don't have a lot of power, so we need to conserve. The other thing is the sun's a deadly laser, so ideally I don't really want to be out in the sun for too long if I can help it, or find somewhere in the shade. We'll get our resources and we'll see if we can find somewhere to set up. Drilling without gravity is actually quite difficult. In gravity, it's fine, the rocks will just fall down. Out of gravity, they just fly everywhere. I've run into our first issue, our first problem that we need to solve. In fact, there's two problems that we need to solve. The first one is our hydrogen. What we have is what we have. I can't get any more until we make some ice, or find some ice. And because of that, we've got to conserve what we have. The second issue is it's dark. In the shade where I'm protected from the sun, I can't see anything. Now I can fix this with a spotlight. The floodlights are built. I might be in a little bit of trouble. I'm down to half of my rations and half of my actual health food thing, the food bar. And I'm nowhere near ready to construct anything. Right, so we managed to finish the second algae farm. Now we did it by stealing some glass from this one. Now I believe cargo access should be under here. Yeah, there it is, you can see it there. So we've now got direct access to the cargo container for the moment. Damn. No, didn't want to do that. Bugger. Okay, so we've just vented some of our oxygen out to the atmosphere, no big deal. See, this is why rushing actually makes things go by slower. Once again, I have run out of glass. There we go. We can now stop mining by hand, stop wasting our jetpack fuel, we have a drill. Food's okay, oxygen's okay. Power. We're down to 8 hours just idling. Which ain't great. So solar panels will be the next thing on our list. What we've got our basic assembler on. We have a hydrogen tank on. We have our 4 algae farms on. We have our 2 solar panels on. We have floodlights so we can see where we're going. And we've got a drill so we can collect more resources without me having to go outside. Now, as you can see, my hydrogen reserves on my jetpack are getting quite critical. I've only got 23% left. Hydrogen is going to be our problem. If I run out of hydrogen, I can't get around. So, to get hydrogen, we need ice. To get ice, we are going to need an ore detector. So I think for next time, our focus will be getting an ore detector, finding ice, and dealing with our critically low hydrogen supply.
Officer's Log 02. Stardate 04-01-2081. This is Fiery Shadows, Junior Engineering Officer of the Umbrella Pyre Manufacturing and Logistics Corporation. Progress has been good. I've awoken much earlier than anticipated. However, the stasis was largely to preserve resources. Food supply is now plentiful, and power is adequate. Reserve power looks good, however hydrogen is still critically low. If I am to survive out here, I will require infrastructure. Finding ice is my utmost priority, but I also must find iron and cobalt, as well as have a reliable way to refine it if I am to stand a chance of making it planetside.
Okay, today we need to find ice. We need to find iron, and we need to find cobalt. Main thing we need is we need the ice. I have not got a hydrogen supply, and my hydrogen for my jetpack is running out. Without my jetpack, I'm going to struggle to get around. There we go. We can now detect ores, which will be really useful because I've been scanning that asteroid there. I've not been finding anything. Okay, it appears it's our lucky day. We've just stumbled over some ice. This is on the main rock that we were surveying, so hopefully we should just be able to plunge down into that, get some hydrogen, and then we can set up a temporary base on this rock. It is on the surface. That is ideal. We have acquired our ice. We have actually a nice small stockpile of resources. What we need to do is we need to find the cobalt. Now, we also don't have a lot of power. We've only got an hour. That's okay, so we found silver, we found iron. That is a good start, but we need cobalt. Oh, nickel. Now that could be useful. Oh. Whoops. Okay, was not expecting it to be there. I thought it was further away than it was. Cobalt. We need that. Cobalt and gold. You know what? That's not a bad combination. The only resources we haven't found are uranium and platinum, but we don't need them at this stage anyway. So we're making a good start. I've started making a little platform for us to set a temporary base up on. We're making our little platform. Well, we're running low on silicon, we're running low on iron. Ah, yes, I don't have a beacon or anything on my ship, do I? Okay, this was a great idea, but I'm now suddenly aware that I have lost my ship. Right, in theory, this should allow us to get to the silicon a lot quicker and easier. I do have to just be careful not to clip anything. Because if I clip anything, then it is a bad time for me. Okay, we run into a slight snag. I am desperately low on power. I've got 39 minutes idling. That is about 2 minutes of thrust. So, I've got two choices. I can park myself in the sun for a long time and wait for my ship to recharge. Or I go and make a detour and try and get some ice before I run out of power. I'm going to have to sit here and charge for a bit. Okay, we're in a bit of a predicament. Now, the batteries, they are charging. However, with everything turned off, it'll take 2 days to fully recharge them. That is 2 real-life days, 48 hours. Now, I don't know about you guys, I do not have 48 hours to sit here, so we're going to have to go get some ice. Now, unfortunately, the nearest ice, yeah, it's about 9 kilometers that way. Now, we can drift over there, however, we only have minutes of thrust. So once we get over there, we have to basically get that ice mined pretty sharpish. Collision course, collision, 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 no, 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 no. Whoa, bloody hell. Okay. Just need to excavate as much ice as we can from this. Oh, we've only got 1 second of power left, apparently. That is really not good. Let's get that running. Okay, that is this area excavated. We can now get to the silicon. It took a bit longer than anticipated, but such is life. We've got iron, we have silicon. Now, this ship is very heavy at the moment. We're 500 tons. Progress has been made. We have an airtight, pressurized processing facility.
Officer's log 03. Stardate 09-01-2081. This is Fiery Shadows, Junior Engineering Officer of the Umbral Pyre Manufacturing and Logistics Corporation. For the first time since awakening and finding myself adrift and alone, I'm feeling optimistic. I have the locations of the key resources required to restart the colonization effort. I have the means to support myself and build additional craft, and I have solid foundations to build upon. Power generation and processing throughput remain issues, so I need to construct a storage silo, build a semi-automated drilling platform over the ice, and increase the refining capacity.
Okay, we know what we need to do. So I was going to put a couple of basic refineries here, and then the main refinery coming out of this point here. Now I need a storage silo because, I mean, nothing's processing because all the inventories are full. And we also need to do a drill platform for this ice hatch. So storage silo first, then refineries, then the drill. This is the idea. I think I'll weld this up, and this should get production rolling again. Now the most convenient cargo port, or conveyor port, would have been this one up here. However, it is being blocked. There we go, that's now all connected. Fill ourselves up with more foods. More snacky snacks. Let's go and get some ice and some nickel, because there should be some asteroids of them both together. I found this quite funny. I just disconnected, and the base instantly plunges into darkness. There is no power on that base at all. Okay, the plan of action is we're going to get the nickel first, because we won't need a lot of that. And then we will just absolutely load up on ice, and then transport ourselves back. There it is, without any of the lights on it. It's really difficult to pick out where it is. I'm just about lined up with that connector. Gently does it. Low connector. There we go. That's now running again. These are now running. Now, the next issue we're going to have is where I want to build the drill platform is where my ship is currently docked. If I put a refinery on the roof, I can just disconnect my ship. So 2 of these. 1 there, 1 there. How's that? Cool. That's now running. So that should now pull through the ores. Let's disconnect the ship and park it somewhere convenient. Cool, so if we disconnect here and pull away and park ourselves somewhat in the sky. Okay, so I've got the basic frame in place. The drill itself should clear most of this, I hope. If not, well, rip, it's going to break. Okay, the drill is all welded up, so I just need to pipe it into the conveyor system. Okay, so we're going to have to rethink this platform then. So I've got 2 choices. I can either dismantle the top drill, or expand the bottom ring. I think expanding the bottom ring is probably going to be better. So that is exactly what we shall do. Okay, I've welded up the new frame for the drilling site, and hopefully that should clear. Right, now it should clear. I think that's... yeah, I think that'll work. Oh, are you kidding me? Is the ice patch not that deep? I mean, picking up the stone isn't terrible either. But I've done a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. This one actually still goes down a fair bit. So this one's okay. It's literally this patch here. Now, I'm trying to decide what refinery modules I want to use. So I'm thinking, for the moment, speed and power efficiency could be a good bet. Instead of retrofitting the ship that I had, I've opted to build a new one. So it'll be hydrogen powered, large cargo, mining focused. Okay, we are hiding from the sun again, because we got awfully close to being irradiated, but our little skeleton mining ship is somewhat taking shape. Now it's just a case of getting everything welded up. Alright, we just need to take a quick detour because we have completely run out of iron. Iron retrieved, returning to base. This is probably a bad idea, so I ought to record this. So I've just attached the rotor head. I'm going to extend the doom hole. Now, if I grind this off, can I get the second one? I may just need to give that a bit of a nudge downwards. So just need to boop that down to the bottom of the hole, really. Ah, that could be problematic. You know, I'm sure this will be fine. Now, annoyingly, I've got no way to get this back into alignment. How can I resolve this? Slight nudge. That's closer. So now I just need to get those into each other. Oh, 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 oh. Attach, attach, attach. Where is it? Let me attach. Let me attach! There we go. Oh. Was not happy about that. There we go, drills are working. Drills are doing the drill things. We should go back and finish our little ship. Bit of a leap. We've got everything welded up. It's got everything it needs to fly. So all we need to do now is just like minor detailing and paneling, and that's ready to fly. I'm conscious that I may have forgotten something. Oh, lights. Of course. That's what I'm missing. We have a bit of a predicament. We do not have very much hydrogen left.
Officer's log 04. Stardate 12-01-2081. It has come to my attention that perhaps ice is not as abundant as I had originally hoped, and given that I have yet to find platinum for more iron thrusters, I am left wondering if I was too hasty in using my local reserves for power rather than fuel. My hydrogen stock is starting to dwindle once more, and I will soon have to fall back onto emergency power. An alternative, renewable power source is the top of the agenda for today, so that I can reserve the accumulation of hydrogen for fueling my future fleet.
We are in trouble. Our ice isn't doing so hot. We are running desperately low. The ice patch which I thought we had, yeah, it didn't last very long. So we need to rethink this. I might relocate this drill over to the ice patch which is over here. We've got a new mining ship set up and ready to go, we just don't have any way to fuel it yet. Our hydrogen tanks have nothing in them. We ain't doing so good. So we don't have a lot of ice left. So that's all welded up. So now I just need to get a drill in place to be able to do the ice. Let's get that drill placed, and then we can start mining out some of this ice. Now I could automate this, but I mean, for what it's going to do, it's probably not worth it. So I think I might need to relocate this ship, the mining ship, for the moment, so I can get a solar array moving out, because we're running out of power and running out of food, both of which aren't ideal. Yeah, that should be okay. We'll leave it there for now, and we will extend this out a little bit. We're out of steel plates. That's rarely happened to me before. Am I out of construction components? Why am I... Yeah, I am. Okay. This is good to know. We are running low on every resource imaginable. Okay, so the gantry's been complete. Now we just need to build the solar array off the bottom here. Yep, that's that ice patch completely exhausted, which is a shame. It didn't take long, but Understandable. All the solar panels are made! Look at that! Where's my sun? There we go. Yong. Oh, okay. Something's going... I might need to adjust some of the torque settings there, because that didn't like it in the slightest. And again, always aim at sun. There we go. Okay, so power has been sorted. We've got a solar tracking array, which should always be in the sun. The next thing to do is figure out our next source of ice, because we've exhausted pretty much both deposits around our base. Okay, quick update. We have modified the mining ship, so the only thing left to do really is maybe give it a bit of a paint job, but that's purely cosmetic, and take it for a spin. I think this is ready to go. Let's go take it to an ice asteroid. Okay, this seems to be quite a successful miner, because we have just completely filled up with ice. Yeah, maybe ejecting directly behind me wasn't such a smart idea. Cool, so power is no longer going to be a problem. So we just need to make sure we slow down in good time so we don't smack ourselves into our base. No, this went surprisingly well. Well, you know what? That's been an incredibly successful mission. We've got a functioning hydrogen-based mining ship. We have permanent power and food. We have exhausted the supplies of ice at the base, but that's fine, because we needed that to get the mining ship moving. So the next thing to do really is expand the base. So this can be dismantled. I've come to the realization just now that every time we bring back a load with the miner, it's going to be a full cargo container's worth. Which means if we're going to do several mining trips in a short succession, we're going to need a lot more storage. Okay, additional storage silos have been made. Okay, ready to disembark. Let's see if we can find this gold. There we go, that's the gold. Mostly mined. Right, let's upgrade the refinery with some yield modules. But for the moment, our little temporary base, our temporary working area, is doing really well. It's serving us well.
Officer's log 05. Stardate 15-01-2081. Things are looking up. The refit of the Miner Heavy proved very successful. I now have the ability to mine resources without also worrying about power. The upgrades to the refineries proved very useful indeed, but that being said, the throughput is now abysmally slow. I need to construct a dedicated refining facility with additional refineries to dramatically increase my ingot output. I think I know just the spot. It is also important to get some turrets online, as now that the facility is starting to sprawl out, it is increasingly likely to be hit by a stray meteor.
Okay guys, we've got a few things to focus on today. We need to dismantle this drill, because it's surplus to requirement. Probably doing the turrets and the refinery and the assembly building today. Currently we've got 2 assemblers without any modules on them. We have 1 main refinery, and we've got 2 basic refineries. I'm thinking of putting the refineries down in this pit, and having like a glass floor so you can look down and see them. Okay, so we're running up against iron at the moment. We don't have enough of it, so I might have to quickly pop off and do a quick iron run. It's really difficult when the rocks are between you and the sun. It's really difficult to identify where the asteroids are. Platinum! Platinum! We need that. So what I'll do is I'll quickly mine some of this, mine some iron, mine some ice, and probably return to base. Now let's grab the iron from here, and we can circle around and get some ice. My god, this thing is so slow to accelerate once it's full. Which means it's going to be also equally as slow to decelerate, so I've got to be careful of that. Okay, all docked, all delivered. Everything's going well. We've managed to fill in the pit. This is where the refinery will go, and I think I'll just stack them up on top of each other. I think we'll get the refinery building built, and then we'll think about turrets. So this is how we're going to do the refineries for the moment. We've got a pit, which has 2 of the industrial refineries in. We'll put some catwalks along this level here, but you can still access the lower level. So another level of refineries and just have a bunch of catwalks on the inside. Okay, so quick update on the refinery building. We've got a framework going. I don't know if I like the flatness on the inside, but I don't know what I can do about it. We've got the corridor running to the new refinery building built, as well as all the pipelines. So we've got the airlocks in place. We have a bit of shape and structure going on. On the inside, it'll be all very industrial catwalks, railings, bits and pieces, so it can be all very walkable. So I've done a lot of the greebling. All the refineries are in place. We've got all these catwalks in place to make it walkable. We've got lighting. We've got some greebling in forms of pipework just to make it look less cubic. And I'm now ready to put the roof on. So we'll put the roof on this, and then our refinery building will be complete. Okay, turrets are in place in strategic locations. But I don't have any ammo for them, so I need to quickly go mine some magnesium. Right, let's see if we can find some magnesium. Magnesium mined. We've got our magnesium, so the turrets have ammo. We have our refinery building. And I think it's probably worth wrapping up there. We've done a lot, and we've got a lot to show for it. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Officer's Log 06. Stardate 19-01-2081. Once more, another positive update. Last time, I focused on the refining throughput. This time, I must look at expanding the assembly capabilities. I also need to establish some landing pads and an external welding ship to ensure work can be carried out more effectively when directly under the harsh sunlight emitted from Kien.
So last episode we upgraded our refinery building. So we have additional throughput for refining ores. The same can't be said for making components, because we're still stuck on these 2 unupgraded assemblers. Yeah, so we need to do an assembler building, landing pads, and I kind of want to do a small grid welding ship, just so that we don't have to keep hiding from the sun every time. So what I'm thinking is, if I go on a prospecting trip, see if we can find the uranium, and wait for the sun to come round, then I can build my landing pads. On the landing pads I can build my small grid welder, and from there we can build our assembly building. Do we have uranium here? Nope. Do you have uranium? Nope. What secrets have you got? Do you have uranium? No, you got silicon. You do have uranium. Oh, I saw that. You got lots of uranium. Got silicon, uranium, and iron. Okay, we now have all the resources we need. We have plenty of our basic resources. We found some extra platinum, and finally found some uranium. Gently does it. This thing is very heavy and doesn't have a lot of maneuverability when it's full. And we are docked. So time to unload. Okay, so this is where I want the landing pad to be. Oh, the turrets are doing work. That's good. I've got a lot of welding to do. And I don't really want to do this all by hand, so I think I'm going to quickly throw together a small welding ship to help get this done a bit quicker. Okay, so thrusters are on, gyros are in, remote control is in. I want to put a couple more batteries on the roof, and then probably an antenna. I'll probably sling it underneath. This is pretty much ready to go. Okay, so I've just been doing some greebling whilst I've been waiting for the batteries to charge. This is going to be our little worker bee. Oh, lights. Yeah, I'm missing lights, aren't I? That would be helpful. Okay, the little worker bee is now ready to go. I'm hoping I've got enough power for it. Oh, does this not have enough for us to get clear of the connector? Okay, yeah, fully laden this thing is heavy, but that's okay. The good news is this makes welding this up a hell of a lot quicker. There we go, so that's the landing pad all welded up. Okay, so I'm just laying out the floor plan for the assembly building. I just hope I can get enough assemblers in here with modules. So this is the layout we're kind of going with. I'm going to stagger the industrial assemblers and sort of make a whole bunch of walkways between them. Let's get the assemblers on next. Oh, you know what? I can do shipbuilding. I forgot this was a thing. So we can just plonk that down. Plonk that one down. Just weld these up. This certainly makes life a lot easier. Oh, no, stop. Right, okay. This thing doesn't handle very well. Okay, so the basic backbone of the assembly building is now put together. Ooh, crashed into the landing pad, why don't I? Okay, that's most of the pipework in place. We just need to get it welded up and get the walls up. Now we're properly connected. We've got cargo access through the entire thing. It's all looking good. However, I have noticed that they use 6 megawatts of power. So all my assemblers use most of the power that the base has. Which means those batteries are going to be draining like nobody's business. Drained in 5 hours. Now, in all fairness, we're not going to be pulling maximum assembly at all times, so those batteries will have a chance to recharge. That being said, I think we either need a combination of more batteries and probably a reactor building now that we have access to uranium. Okay, it's coming together nicely. I think using the internal corridors just until we get to the wider open areas is probably the smart thing to do. Oh, okay, I've just seen something I can do. This could be interesting. Okay, so that actually is almost the perfect place to put an airlock. So that is what we've done. That connects us to the pad. This is starting to come together quite nicely. Okay, we just need to get a roof on this now and do a bit of greebling because, again, it's become quite flat, but that's purely because I was rushing to get the side on. There we go, that is the assembly room welded up. So we've done a lot of the external greebling. We've got an entrance on pretty much each side as well. So all in all, this has turned out a lot better than I was hoping.
Officer's log 07. Stardate 24-01-2081. We have come a long way since we were cast adrift. We have access to raw resources, the means to harvest them, the capability to refine them, and the power to fabricate them into the components we need. If we are to make it planet-side, or locate any survivors, we will need to establish a communications array. Constructing a control tower on the base is the first step towards this goal.
Today we've got a few things we need to work on. We have to refit the worker bee. We need to expand the base. So we have plenty of fabrication capacity. We have plenty of refining capacity because we made the refinery building a couple of episodes ago. So now we need to build a reactor room now that we have found uranium. And we also need to build a control center. I'm thinking of bringing the communications room tower thing off the end of this airlock section, up this cliff face, and putting a tower up here so that it's got a nice clear overview of everything that's going on. Almost like an air traffic control tower kind of thing. So the problem with the worker bee is it is sluggish. When it's full, it doesn't have enough thrust for the amount of mass that it can hold. I think what I'll do is I'll get some bones put down for this. Get the skeleton down, and then I'll explain what I've done. We've got forwards, backwards, left, right, up, down. Remote control, antenna, lights. And then a bit of decorative framework. Okay, so I got a little bit carried away with the greebling. It's got more thrust, less cargo, additional gyros, we've got landing gear, we've got connectors, cameras all around, fancy accents, and some little engine flare things. Let's leave that recharging, because ultimately, what I want to do is where is the nearest planet? One moment, there is a planet around here somewhere. Oh, this could be problematic for my plans. I did go on a little detour, which I realised was completely unnecessary. The reason for the detour was I lost where the planets were. They're up there. They're right there. Don't know why I couldn't see them. I thought they were out this way or out that way. No, they're right up there, which works brilliantly in our favour. So, the plan, once I've got my control tower set up, and this outpost is pretty much full functioning, fully self-sufficient, I want to send out a set of craft to scout out the planet. But I was more thinking of just sending a probe out, trying out the laser antennas. Now, the fact that we have line of sight towards the closest planet, in fact towards all the planets from this location, works really well in our favour. I think the best way forward is to attach a 3x3 drill up here and just piston it straight down through this rock face just to clear us a nice, clear area to work with. Oh look, something just broke. God damn it, what broke? What did I break? Something broke, I saw something fall off. Why did it look like something broke then? Oh, that's going to be problematic. See, it's nothing that a little bit of merge block shenanigans can't fix. Please don't break anything else. Let's reinforce this structure so that we don't accidentally destroy it with our engines. Okay, so the drills have been welded up. Time to see whether we have enough pistons. Oh, it's one block short. One block short. We've repositioned the merge block, so let's move this assembly back into place. Oh. I didn't take into account how much stone there was in these drills and how heavy they are. They are really clanging out. Okay, hang on. Ah. Oh dear. This could be problematic. This was such a good idea, so poorly thought through. Okay, we need to try and rescue this before that drifts off. This is working. It's not great. Now, I can see myself getting thrown into a cliff. Bit of a predicament. I don't know the best way to handle this. No, this is fine. We have a connector. That'll do. Let's grab all the stone. Okay, we'll just have to shuttle this a couple of times. Cool, right. Those drills can now be manoeuvred without clanging out, hopefully. At least they can be manoeuvred more easily, that's for sure. Oh, I've overshot massively. Okay, so with the drills emptied and the connector ground off, I suppose what we need to do now is try and reconnect these merge blocks. Merge blocks are lining up. There we go. That was a bit of a shake, but we are good. Let's disconnect from this. That could have ended horribly. I'm well aware. Right, let's get these drills extended down a bit more. We are ever so slightly proud of the floor, but again, that's fine. Okay, so we've got the same issue now as we had before, where the drills have a lot of stone and are really difficult to unload. I've just had an idea where if I just grab it with the worker bee, and we just bring this all the way back over to the landing pad. Oh, at least I would if I didn't collide. Oh, this could be problematic. Let's go put this one back for the moment. We'll take it over with the Mark II. The Mark II should be able to move it without any issues, as long as I don't get too close to the drive plume. Okay, let's finish digging out this little lip here. So this is the room we've got to work with. It'll be a 5x5 outer wall, 3x3 inner wall, a staircase that goes round, and the central shaft will just be open so that you can jet back up. On each of these rings, it's going to be a solid floor, And I also want to make them individually airlocked, if I can, or at least separated by doors. This is the current plan. The plan has changed several times. We have this shaft, which we can just fly straight up. Each section of the shaft will have a door. Each floor will have its own door, which is how we're going to keep it segregated, keep all the rooms separated. In this section, where the staircase will come through the floor, we will cover it with passageways. The staircase separated from the rooms, so that keeps all the other rooms separated. I think a living quarters kind of space up here is going to be quite nice. Okay, painting has been done. Let's walk you guys through what we have done here with this tower. The immediate bottom floor, we have room to expand. So I floated the idea of taking the reactor room deeper further into the asteroid. So we can always build that off of this point here. So we go from this airlock, which joins onto the main structure of the base. We've got this staircase here, which leads up to another junction. But more importantly, the main living area. I've got my little computer here, which gives me the summary of what's going on inside the base. I've got a couch, which gives me somewhere to sit and chill. I have all the nature things. I've got a terrarium and a terrarium and an aquarium. Some nice plants, which are just hiding behind the stairs. We've got some books. We have another nice planter. We have our toilet and our shower, as well as our kitchen. A nice little coffee table area where we can store some bits and pieces. And we have our bed, so we can have a nice little snooze. Means you don't have to rely on the cryopod so much. And then we can continue on up to the next section where there's another junction. This junction means that each of the rooms can be pressurized individually. So moving in, we have this storage area. We've got some barrels to act as emergency storage. We have some shelves which have some very important components on in case we run short or there's an emergency. We have a little box which we can put things in. We have our lockers and our space suits and our armory. So this area here is purely for storing weapons and stuff just in case. Moving on up to the next floor, we have our experimentation, our lab. This is where we can do some little tests, do some research, some innovation, relearn how to build some large ships. So we have our little lab area here. And moving on up to the final floor, which is currently just another transition floor. Currently undecorated. I might put a handful of things in here, but I don't quite know what it's going to be. But this brings us up to the top of what will be the control tower. So I've opted not to go for additional floors, and instead I've widened out the top, given it this air traffic control tower vibe with the bridge windows all the way around. The rationale is this interior space here is more than enough for me to put in programmable blocks, event controllers, timers, all that kind of thing. So this is going to be the control room. Get a few decorations in here to make it look important. I need some lights as well, so there's a lot of interior work to be done. So I think I've settled on a dish design, and to be fair, I quite like this. Now I've offset it, and I've reduced its size a little bit so it doesn't overpower things. The next thing I need to do is align it, because I want to point it towards this closest planet here, the green one. So if we point it towards the green planet, hopefully this gives us a nice starting point. There we go, that's that's probably as close as I'm going to get for alignment. The next thing to do is going to be to get a few laser antennas on this as well. To make navigating the tower slightly easier, I've put in a gravity generator, and I've realised that, well, it goes in the direction which it's attached to, which means mounting it on the ceiling like I wanted to isn't really the best way forward. Can I just put a minus sign in front of that? Oh, I can. There we go. Nice. We have artificial gravity, which makes using the stairs a lot easier. We have our control seat. This is where we're going to be doing a lot of our remote control work, that kind of thing. It gives us a nice visibility of all the pads. We have our control room. Our control room is all decked out with our programmable blocks. And that's it for this floor of the control tower. If we go externally through this airlock which we've got here, I've put on this little walkway just so that we can easily land and get inside. We have our laser antennas. This is going to be what will enable us to do the long-range remote probe mission to the planet. But we'll touch on more of that in the next episode. Other than that, there's no other updates I can make, other than the tower is now complete, I believe. I don't think there's anything else I need to add to it. If there is, well, we'll just slowly upgrade it as and when we need to. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this has turned out.
A new day dawns on this godforsaken rock, so now it is time to start looking to the future, to reactors and shipbuilding, and surveying the nearby planets. To any other survivors of the UPML Expeditious Frontier, I have included the coordinates of the Sanctuary base. I pray this reaches you before I depart on the next stage of my mission, but in the event that I have already left by the time you get here, you should find everything you need to be able to follow in my footsteps. This is Fiery Shadows, Engineering Officer for the Umbral Pyre Manufacturing and Logistics Corporation, signing off.